I feel my life is becoming a testimony of what happens when you truly believe and have faith in God to carry you through life no matter what. Because, I mean, I went from being homeless, living in my car, no money, no job, nothing, really in a bad way. Um, and I called up to get myself on the list, the housing list that people were in my situation know about. It's something that usually people are on that list for a long time, very long time, sometimes a couple of years. Um, you are told maybe you'll get a place within a year if you're lucky. And by the grace of God, I couldn't believe it. I think it was only maybe 4 to 6 months, maybe 6 months that I waited, and I got my first apartment. And it was in Quakertown, and it was up 3 flights of stairs, and it was on a very noisy, loud road. And I was so grateful just to be out of the car and have a place for my doggie and I to be safe and just, exist somewhere safe, with a place to sleep and fresh water and, place to cook food finally and stuff after living in my car and hotel rooms when I got lucky. I spent my stimulus money. It was during the pandemic when that happened, so I spent my stimulus money on hotels, mainly. That was about it, gas and hotels. But anyway, point being, we were so grateful, but it was really hard to be there. I have trauma, my dog has trauma, and they were doing construction on the daily, banging on my walls like crazy. So most of the time I would leave and we would be in my car again anyway. It was as if we were still homeless in the car most of the time because we really couldn't hang out there until after 4 o'clock. And I was not too happy. I was kind of really freaking out and miserable because I was constantly stressed and being triggered, and I just couldn't hardly function. Um, Plus, I was hurting a lot because I moved myself by myself, just me and my dog, and 17 years worth of things. And I was a hoarder, so you can imagine how many car trips that was. And I really thought I was going to die, the pain that I had in my back after all of that, but I made it. And anyway, once I got everything unpacked and started to like the place and feel comfortable, I was told that I had to move, that I couldn't stay because the landlord would is no longer a valid participant of the Section 8 program. He violated something and his place was no longer allowed to be, and I had to move for some strange reason, which I don't really understand much because I had next door neighbors and downstairs neighbors that were on the program too, and they didn't have to leave. So go figure, right? I don't really understand it, but I consider it a God wink because lo and behold, I thought it was the nightmare. So let me just say this: when something bad happens and you think it's horrible, when you look back, it's like, oh my gosh, if that didn't happen, this amazing thing wouldn't have happened. Like sometimes it really is a catalyst for something better because I got a better apartment on the first floor, on the first floor with quieter and nicer neighbors and no noise, very, very little noise, and beautiful yard. Oh, yeah, the other place, Zoe didn't have a yard to potty at all. We walked outside and it was 309 traffic. It was horrible. Tons of trucks all night and motorcycles, and it was just very hard to relax at all there. We were definitely, I don't think I slept the entire time I was there, to be honest. Um, yeah. So I uh I had to take the dog every day, 3, 4 times a day, in the car, down the road to the dog park, which was just a patch of grass, a lawn of grass. It was not really a dog park. I don't know why they would call it that, but it was a place where you could walk your dog to poop. And I would take her there first thing in the morning, and a couple times during the day, and before bed at night. And it was something. I mean, talk about working to live, just to function. Anyway, I feel so blessed because I feel like God really does know our heart. He really knows what we want and what we need when things are really not going well for us. And I think the more obedient we are to what he wants out of us as being a good-hearted person, basically is all he wants from us, is to be nice to each other, ourselves and each other. Um, I think that he really knows what you want before you even say or ask for it, because this apartment that I got was almost perfect. And I'm so truly grateful. I'm so grateful. But I think in life we are meant to level up. So as I've been here a little while, of course, I've found some things that I'm not, that I think could be better. You know, I would love to have a bathtub in my next apartment. I would love to have maybe more privacy, maybe a dishwasher, maybe a washer dryer, you know, that might make life a little bit nicer for me, perhaps a pool. And I think that, you know, I will get those things because I didn't think I would get these things, and I did. But I had faith that God was going to help me out of my situation. I just didn't know how, or I didn't think he was going to do it in such a grand way. When I walked in to this apartment, and I couldn't believe it was mine. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I've worked my whole life from 15 years old. I was paying taxes at 15 years old on the books up until 42, no, up until about 41 years old. I worked almost every day of my life and paid taxes. And I paid rent, I paid bills, and I struggle and I struggle. And let me tell you, I don't have much. I don't work. I don't have anything going on in that sense. And I'm happier than I have ever been when I was working. And all my needs are met. Yes, I am relying on the government as of right now for Section 8 housing. And I am relying on the government for my insurance, health insurance, and my food card. But other than that, I realize I don't really need much or want for much. When you've gone from having not everything, but having the basics of life that people think they need to having none of that at all, just your clothes on your back and sleeping outside on a Wawa, you know, sleeping outside of the pavement at a Wawa, you know. Yeah, when you go from that back into civilian, whatever, back into the world again of non-homelessness, I'm realizing there really isn't much that I need. I want my dog's needs to be met. I like to have some money for gas. I'm trying to quit smoking because I can't afford it. It's just funny how little we actually need. This world makes us believe things that are not true. So many things. And it almost disgusts me now when I go into the stores and I see just how many things there are, how many different types of the same thing there are, and then how much trash we have and collect. It overwhelms me what we do on this earth, and we need to fix it. I don't know why I'm just rambling on. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. I don't even know. I'm just very grateful right now for the place I'm in, and I don't want anyone to ever give up, no matter where you're at, because God will pull you out of that mud. He will. You just got to have faith and believe and be a good person. Love and light.